Okay, so it's late and I'm kind of a day behind posting this, but I've been a little busy myself, so this is kind of in response to Mr. George Klein's death. I had the joy of meeting him just one time after being in Sun Records. I was interviewed in the old fish tank studio at Graceland for Sirius Radio, the Elvis station, by George Klein and Jim Sykes. And it was an amazing experience. George Klein has a way of making you feel like you've known him forever and making you very comfortable. And something that I never really shared with a lot of people, he had made the comment, I'm not a person that takes compliments very well. I never really have been a person to take compliments very well. Part of that wonderful Southern charm. But I was sitting up very straight in my chair and holding my posture very well and dressed in my little vintage attire. And he made the comment after he had made a couple of compliments to me, and I said, well, that's just how I am, and well, that's just me. He said, you remind me of Miss Gladys. And I just kind of put my head down and I smiled. And he said, that's what she would have done. And he said, you don't take compliments very well, do you? And I said, well, no, sir, I really don't. And he said, she didn't either. He said, I can tell you're very proud and you're a very strong Southern woman. He said, you hold yourself very well and you're very confident in your mannerisms. You sit up very well and you just are a very proper Southern woman. He said, but you just don't know how to take a compliment. And I said, no, I don't. It's just not something that I do very well. And he said, she couldn't take a compliment to save her life. And I kind of giggled, and we took our picture, and which I posted on Facebook. And he, as we were leaving, I said, well, thank you for, taking a picture with me. And he said, well, thank you for coming. I said, well, thank you for having me. He said, see, that's how you take a compliment. And I kind of laughed. And he said, you should smile and say thank you for a compliment more often. He said, you have a very nice smile. And he just made you feel real comfortable. My thoughts and prayers really do go out to his family. I know this is a really tough time. This year's been really tough for my friend group. We've suffered through some loss and some trauma, and it's been rough. So I know that losing somebody in your family is very difficult, but it should give them great comfort to know that anyone that met him felt like they knew him for their whole life. He really made you feel like when you walked into a room with him, great comfort. And like you had known him your whole life. There's not a lot of people in this world that make you feel that way. And he was one of those people. And I'm glad to say that in my life, I was blessed to have met George Klein one time. And I was blessed to be interviewed by him that one time. And no better compliment could I ever have than the one that he gave me to compare me to Miss Gladys Presley. My thoughts and prayers do go out to the family of Mr. Klein and to his friends and to the fans, of which I became one of. And I know that he will be greatly missed, but I know that it's a party in heaven right now because he and Elvis are catching up and they're having a good time. And we'll all hear about it one day when we get there too.